Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore podcast, the podcast that reviews the movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 707. And also, I would like to congratulate myself and Brad as we've made it to a 7 years of the Nerdcore, as today marks the first episode of phase 8 of this podcast. As always, this is the Nerd. You're going to hear the whole show. Lots of my wonderful co-host, Brad Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon. And yes, you heard that right. We are on year 8 now.
Yeah, we've been podcasting for 7 years, but we start our trip around the sun to hopefully complete an 8th year of podcasting.
This just means I'm old.
Yeah. Well, actually, Brad. Well, I think I did record and upload that same day that we did the chapter 1 episode. So Brad, actually your 7-year anniversary would be on, this is great.
I thought we did the Star Wars first.
No. You were on the It chapter 2, bro.
I thought we did Star Wars before that.
So the first episode of the Nerdcore is Narco Season 3 review.
Yes, I wasn't on those.
And Luis.
Yeah, then I thought we did a Star Wars.
No. Episode 2 is It Chapter 1.
Oh.
And that includes Alex, you, Eric, me.
What did we do the Star Wars one?
Hold on, I'll tell you. So, Brad, your 7-year anniversary, Brad, is on September 25th of this year. Yeah. We started episode 3 is the Last Jedi trailer reaction because it was during Monday Night Football. Yeah. And then does it need a sequel on number 4? Number 5 is Stranger Things review. Number 6, I believe, is Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok? I could have sworn you asked me to come on because of the Star Wars.
Hold on, Brad.
Trilogy.
Yeah. The Punisher and Justice League review is Where's the Tuna? That's a bonus episode. And then episode 7, episode 8, episode 9, episode 10, and episode 11 is the Star Wars review-a-thon, aka our first ever themed month that we ever did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it was there in the beginning.
Yeah, but that's like 2018, Brad.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
The It review.
Yeah, you're in there, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, because you were talking to Eric, you were talking about Ricky, and you were like, Eric, like Ricky is funny, Eric, and you're just like, no, he's not. Yeah. But
sounds about right.
Yeah, man. Brad, 7 more years down under the buckle, under the belt.
Yeah. Just steamroll ahead.
Yeah, man.
That's all we do.
It's funny because this time I actually I'm sorry. I actually remembered to look when our anniversary was because I know it's in September. But like last time I was like, oh shit, Brad. Like we were already like a couple episodes past that date. And I was like, hey, Brad, we just hit 6 years. And we were like, cool. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, but this time I actually remembered. I was like, I wonder when our what's it called? When our first episode drops. And I was like, oh shit, wait, now it's tomorrow. It's like, but today it's the day after it happened. But
so maybe we should ask each other what has changed in 7 years. A whole lot of shit.
I think the chemistry has gotten better. I think.
What, we're friends?
No. I think sometimes in the beginning stages when we were just on this microphone, at least in my head, I tried to make myself sound a certain way, like other podcasters sound.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, I found that mix of my vocabulary and how I want to sound, but still trying to make it feel like two friends who are discussing a film.
Which is what it ends up being.
Which is what we always wanted it to be.
I think I've gotten better at knowing when the pauses come
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to spin.
I think that your structure has definitely improved a lot, and you've really understood. I think you really understood what the layout is, even though we like to say like we're not really scripted. We have more of a layout. Like we open the show, we plug the Patreon, what's it called? We'll shoot a little bit of shit for a bit, and then
Yeah,
we get that right like around 10-minute mark. We go into introduce the film, we talk about the film, we wrap it up a little bit, and then we close. I think we have a certain layout that we are able to follow now better. Whereas before it was like,
yeah. Just throw everything in the
yeah.
kitchen sink at it. Uh,
Sometimes we get really excited about the films we talk about that or the shows that we what's it called that we're kind of like oh shit, we forgot to mention that, or
this
like oh
and
shit,
this
we forgot to
and that.
mention this.
Yeah, we still do that
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah. But I think layout, I think chemistry, and I think especially your I wouldn't would you call it openness, or what would you call it? I think your curiosity towards other films has definitely grown a lot,
Yeah,
where now you're a lot more open to watching stuff that before I think you would have been like, oh, that doesn't sound like it's gonna be interesting to me.
yeah. That doesn't
Eh,
sound like it'll suit my tastes.
yeah. And now you're just kind of like, oh, fuck it. It sounds like something I might want to
That
watch.
sounds kind of
Whatever.
cool. I
Yeah.
I I, I have definitely. I can definitely say I've probably seen
Yeah.
more movies than at least anyone else in my friend group, other than probably Raul,
Yeah.
Luis, Alex.
Here's the challenge for you, Brad. And you can say this at the end of the episode, but I'll give you time to think about it. What was the movie that gave you that shift in this podcast journey? What was the one that shifted your view on that?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at all
Yeah,
the.
well, that's why I'm giving you until the end of the episode to think about this.
Fuck.
So
We've
let's
reviewed so. You
yeah,
you know the original one pops in my head, but I don't think it's that one. Moonlight pops into my head, but
yeah,
I think I just really fucking like Moonlight.
yeah. But
But
there
that
has to be
wasn't that was
one.
that
Yeah,
was there was one before that, I'm sure.
yeah. But just think about it. Just think about it. Like
Oh, you
you
know,
go back to 2017, because like you guys remember, like what's it called? It was like going from 2017. I want to say until um, whew, um, I want to say middle of 2018, where it was kind of like, oh, I kind of want to show the movies, Brad. I want to show Brad the movies that I've been watching in school. Because then we were just like, oh, let's just talk mostly about like, no, never mind, I'm lying. Well, because number 13 is
when
fucking
did we start watching Edward Yang?
like 2021, bro.
2021. So it
Uh,
wasn't Edward Yang did expand like
yeah,
the filmography that I was not used to. It got I think Edward Yang got me more into the international films.
yeah. Because like I give you a little bit of a taste there when we do Eyes Wide Shut, right?
Yeah.
But like for a while,
What was
guys,
that Jared Leto one?
what?
The Jared Leto one.
Oh, fucking oh my god. Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream's good. I don't know if that
Yeah.
was it. When do we do Eraserhead? Eraserhead might have been the one to be like, fuck yeah, full throttle.
Yeah. I don't remember, Brad. But I mean it's gonna be a while, but like
I'll go
yeah,
back through at
yeah,
some point in this, and I'll try to
yeah,
figure. We're thinking 2017, so I
yeah.
guess so.
Yeah, but like I was saying, guys, like it isn't until like really April of 2018 that we kind of seen a little bit of the mold of what this podcast becomes, because Brad throws in Ikiru in there. I start showing Brad a little bit of the movies that I'm watching in film school, like 12 Angry Men, not 12 Angry Men, I'm sorry, like Vertigo and stuff like that. And we start like throwing that type of stuff in there where it kind of shifts a little bit of like our focus of like pop culture, nerd culture, and more towards movies as like a broader spectrum.
Hmm.
And but the idea of like the nerd core has always been that like because you nerd out, not because it's like, oh, it's because I'm a nerd, I'm into comic books and stuff like that. It's always been about like what you're a nerd about, because you can be a nerd about movies, you can be a nerd about TV shows, you can be a nerd about comics, you can be a nerd about anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and I mean we did interviews that
yeah,
kind of Jason Inman came.
yeah,
That one, well, he actually showed up twice. It just Raul fell asleep once.
yeah, yeah. But with that being said, we're here to discuss Brother, and of course, we're live early and ad free on patreon.com/nerdcore. At the $1 tier, you get this episode live early and ad free before anybody else gets it on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Um, and of course, we thank Stacy.
Stacey.
And they lose focus with the Michael Bay months. Lots of explosions, little content.
I
I'm
still
glad.
I don't think we've ever done a Michael Bay.
Yes, we have. We've
Did
discussed
we
The
have
Rock.
do we have a whole
No,
month?
not a month. We discussed the film.
We've discussed films.
Yeah, and I think The Rock was the first and last one I was going to discuss on here. I respect people, I respect them for what they enjoy, but I cannot.
Sometimes you just gotta question it.
Yeah, it's just like, hey man, like I'm glad that that's what you like, and I've tried it multiple times, and I just don't not like this, and I do not enjoy this. But with that said, if you have not watched Brother, you should probably get out of here. If you care about spoilers, but if you don't care about spoilers, you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how you goes. This is your one and only spoiler warning, and is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerdcore is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code TheNerdCore. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video.
Hey, brother. Sorry. A little Vici for you.
I was gonna say, Brad, you should probably just look at the letterbox list. You know, that's what it is. Like letterbox.com/nerdcore, Brad.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go figure that out after I read some of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, Brad, this is mine.
I thought this was. Oh, that's right. You
This
chose
is my week.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to put, because I don't know about Wikipedia, so here in the private chat I found they did a filming of this, and I kind of like the paragraph they have in there.
Huh. Brother in 35 millimeter. Okay. Holy crap! I gotta zoom in my screen here. Okay. This one right here, writer director Takeshi Kitano.
Yep, that one.
Okay, I'll do that and then I'll go into the Wikipedia.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Writer director Takeshi Kitano stars as Yamamoto, an enigmatic, violent yakuza enforcer who flees Japan and relocates to Los Angeles, where he becomes involved in his half brother's drug business. Free from the rigid structure of yakuza culture, Yamamoto builds his own gang with new associate Denny, played by Omar Epps, and begins taking over rival territories as the two form a close bond and establish themselves as a formidable force in the underworld. Filmed around Little Tokyo and Los Angeles, and the only feature Takeshi made outside Japan, this is a rare chance to see LA through its hues through his uniquely poetic yet brutal lens. Is a 2000 Brothers, a 2000 crime film starring, written, directed, and edited by Takeshi Kitano. The film premiered on September 7, 2000 at the Venice Film Festival. The plot centers on a mature yakuza gangster who has to flee to America, where he unites forces with his little brother and his brother's gang in Los Angeles. It is the only American production directed by Kitano and is the only such film in which he starred. Wow. Okay. And it also stars Claude Maki and Tetsuya Watari. And music is done by Joe Hisashi. Wait, is that the Joe Hisashi who I think I'm thinking about? Yep, Brad. This is the composer who has worked with Hayao Miyazaki for like the past movies he's made.
Impressive.
Like, yeah. This is it sits at about an hour and 54. Yeah, 54 minutes. An hour and 54 minutes, and it made a box office return of $15.3 million. Yeah. Brad, we'll go ahead and just start it off like this. We were supposed to do these last month, did not have access to them. So I said, Brad, the two that you wanted to watch, because we wanted to do, so originally, guys, last month was going to be Takeshi Kitano month. But a lot of his movies are not ones, at least the ones that Brad wants to watch. We can't watch them. We can't find them. And so we had to find other ways to watch them, and we found a way. And I told him, Brad, the two that you really wanted, I'll take one and you take the other, and we'll review them this month. So I ended up picking brother, and Brad picked Kubi, which will be not will be this next week.
Yep.
So yeah, I picked this one. If I knew better, I would have selected one that he made in Japan instead of America, instead of the US. But Stacey says from Ghibli to Yakuza, now there's some whiplash. Actually, if you I want to see something. If you were to line this up correctly, I believe he does this after not Howl's of what's it called? Princess not Princess, what's it called? Princess Mononoke. I think he
Princess
might have
Mononoke.
think
Princess
he might have
Mononoke.
done this after.
All right, that's kind of crazy.
Imagine that. But so wait, hold on, let's see. So this was a 2000, right? Brothers in 2000. Yup. Well, he's got other two movies after this, right? But he what's it called? Princess Mononoke is in 97, and he does this one in 2000. But fun fact, while he was working on this one probably in 1999. The year after, he starts working on Spirited Away's soundtrack. Imagine that, from Yakuza to Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Brett, I have to say, I'll get this out of the way. I like this movie. It's brutal. Like, they're saying that this is censored. This is really brutal for censoring.
Really?
Yeah, they said that there's a lot cut that would
Huh.
be a lot more extreme in Japan. That not this is apparently nothing like his Japanese movies.
Ah.
So, on one hand, I'm kind of glad that I start off with this one, because it's like, okay, if this is the worst he can make,
This is toned down.
this is really toned down. But this is actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, pretty good.
So, like, if next week with Kubi,
We
it's
should
like
be expecting some fucking
crazy shit, crazier shit, and better
Mhm.
shit. Yeah. But I have to say, I think it's pretty good. I think the story's pretty easy to follow. I think it's a good film. Um, One of my main gripes, Brad, I think, is that Kitano doesn't know where he wants to end this movie. There's about like 3 scenes towards the end where I really think that is a perfect place to end it.
Yeah, he had multiple endings where you could have just been kind of
Yeah,
done.
it's kind of that Zack Snyder's what's it called, syndrome of like where he's like, oh, I really want to. Or it's like, oh, it could end here, and it's like
But I
it
want to
never
include
really.
this, and
Yeah,
I want to
it's
include
like
this, and I want to make this.
yeah, but I think the movie's fine. I think the pacing is kind of a little slow. But I think it's really interesting the type of story you have here, like a Yakuza member who's like outcast and what's all exiled, and he has to come to Los Angeles, and he reunites with his brother, and he has to do all this stuff, and he ends up making a different brother. What's it called in the process?
Yeah, after cutting him in the face.
Yeah,
Any interesting?
yeah, yeah. But Brad, what are your initial thoughts on Brother?
I kind of agree with you all. I think this movie is good. I don't think it's great though. It's definitely not near perfect. I dig the story. I dig the story
Mhm.
of but I like the Yakuza stories. I mean,
I mean, I'm a sucker for a gangster film.
I'm sucker for a noir gangster film to a fucking especially a Yakuza film. That pretty dope. Um, yeah, I like the story. I mean, this is toned down, pretty violent, but if this is toned down, I don't even want to know what we're going to get into next week. My biggest, like, I don't even mind. Yeah, I can see a little pacing, and I definitely see where he could have ended it 3 or 4 times over. But my biggest gripe with this is not with the main cast, but there's
Supporting?
these supporting cast members that come in and they cannot act to save their lives. It's bad.
Yeah, like there was this one Asian lady. I cannot remember her name.
Was that his girlfriend?
No, because she looked older, Brad. It
Okay.
was an older woman. Oh my god, her line read was something. Like I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Omar Epps is giving what's a groundbreaking performance in
No,
here.
but like he's
But he's actually
believable in a
pretty
way.
good
He's
in this.
pretty good in comparison to
Some
the
of the people in
others.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The girlfriend ain't nothing to write home about either.
No, I
Um,
mean I like she's not really on the screen much either.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it is rough. Some of the performances in
There's some
here,
performances in here, like you can tell it's some of the people's I think first casting.
and I also wonder, and I don't know if this is possible, but I wonder if it was like one of those instances where like, oh, I really want this actress from Japan. I'm going to bring her, and then I'm gonna have somebody dub over her in English. Now, I don't know if that's the case,
Yeah,
but sometimes to me that
it
those line reads did not feel natural.
no, it's a possibility because there was some dubbing going on in this
Yeah.
throughout the film, so that was happening. But there's just, like I said, like the 4 or 5 main cast members in this, and you can even expand that to like the 6 or 7 that come in later. They're fine,
Yeah.
like they're pretty good. It's just these other ones that they come in and they just read their lines like what am I watching? You just took me out of this film with one line. I'm done.
Yeah. It's rough, man. Also Kitano says that he was very disappointed with this movie, and he said that like it was the biggest sign for him to never film outside of Japan again.
Japan.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad in a way
Yeah.
because I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's that bad comparatively to what we've watched before. And I don't even know what the budget on it can't be that much. The budget on this, so I think it's
But
admirable.
so but I'm here reading that Kitano had complete creative control over this film.
But by the time it got to the theaters, did the studios just
Chop it up.
chop it
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, which is probably the case, let's be honest. But I like the film. I can't say that I don't, man. And
I
I
mean, I like the style.
example commercial you're in.
I like the style. I like the
Yeah.
look.
Oh yeah.
There's some camera stuff that's a little weird that's done. There's a scene where it's focused on the car, and it starts out the car in an angle, and then it
Mm-hmm.
like just angles the car.
Yeah.
That's there's some weird stuff that's going on, but I don't dislike it. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't affect the story in any
There's a whole
way.
lot of seppuku in this movie too, man. Oh my god. The guy shooting himself in the head. The guy fucking gutting himself.
Yeah,
Like, holy crap, dude. And he's holding his intestines.
yeah.
Um,
And this
so
is
like
toned down.
this movie's fucking brutal. If this, I don't know if I watched the US cut or the Japanese version because this movie's freaking crazy, man. Um, but it's pretty good. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that like I didn't enjoy it because there was moments where I was like, what the hell? Like I was like,
What
oh wow.
you
And
know,
the story did get me like enthralled into it.
and there's parts of it where I find very believable, like when they're having the Yakuza ceremonies, like
Yeah.
because I just watched the HBO show that they took off the air. I forget what the hell that was called already, but it was recently taken off the air, and they had something very similar, and it looked like the exact same. So there's believability in this movie, but connected to stuff that is not very believable just because there are actors and actresses in this who are not up to par to who was cast in the main roles.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to put out there Hector from Fast and Furious showed up again in this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was he the one who what's it called was telling like what's it called? Hey, come here, putas, bro. Like
Yeah. He was like when they went to meet the Mexican gang and they're all
yeah.
outside. He was the one on the very right.
Oh
If you look
my
at the screen,
god.
the bald one. Yeah, that was Hector from Fast and Furious.
Jesus, man. That guy always plays the same role too.
Same role.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, Brad, like you said, Brad, I think the cinematography is fantastic, man. I love the look of this movie. I was telling Brad in our messages, like, I didn't know I thought this movie was shot digitally. Like I shit you not, man. You would have told me that shit was shot digitally. I would have believed you, man.
I mean, I was kind of believing that. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, but it does kind of look because it does kind of look like it was shot digitally.
Because it's really sharp. The lenses are really sharp.
Yeah.
And usually when you shoot on film, film is a little softer. So I was like, wow, like this has been really sharp. But let's be honest, they probably did a what's it called restoration on this a while ago. So definitely probably did not look like this back then. So they probably did a restoration on this film a while ago, and yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic, and I really and that's what I love the most about this movie. I think there's a certain style to it that's really impressive, and I think that is like really what's it called enthralling, and I was just really captivated by that part,
Yeah.
and the music too.
I,
Kisashi's score is great.
I think there's a lot that's good with this, but it's the cast.
Yeah.
There's some of the supporting cast. I just
Cast the third act just doesn't work as much for
yeah.
me.
I mean I like the ending if he would have just gone with that ending and not
I,
put like two or three other endings before that.
I think the moment he's just walking down the street, Brad, the Yamamoto is just walking down the street. Um, that's it. I think you could have cut it there. That was
Yeah.
it. And you literally could have had what's it called the what's it called you have him walking, screen fades to black. You hear the car coming down like, and you hear,
Yeah.
and there you
Yeah.
go.
Honestly, you could have even faded it before that, and you could have just made a sequel out of it.
Yeah, but
I mean, I wouldn't
you
mind
think
to
that
see
man
a
was
Yamamoto.
you think that man was gonna want to film again in Los Angeles?
No, not in LA. Like you bring
Yeah,
him back to Japan and shit.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the movie's pretty good. I'm feeling Brad a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think it's good, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think that if this is the worst that he can do,
We're
then his
we're go-
worst is not that bad.
then next week we're gonna be pretty pleased.
I'm pretty pleased. Brad, what's your final verdict?
I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I'm just gonna give it a little less, just because
Yeah,
it's good, but maybe I had too high expectations for it coming into it.
yeah. You know what, Brad? I agree with you, bro. I'm giving this a 7. Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7.
I don't think it's close to an 8, but it's better. It's better than fair to Midland. It's a good Yakuza movie.
It's a good Yakuza film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree there, man. But that's our review of Brother. As always, you can follow us on the nerdcore.com, Twitter at the nerdcore, underscore Instagram at the nerdcore, letterbox at the nerdcore, TikTok at the nerdcore, patreon.com/the nerdcore. We will be back on Patreon on Monday as we continue our International Film Month, and then we'll be doing it on Thursday as well. Thankfully, September has only morning shifts and midday shifts, so nothing of the schedule needs to change this month. So thankfully, we'll be back to our regular schedule programming of Mondays and Thursdays right now for this month, and then October will probably be different, but we'll see how different it is. But yeah, man, I thank you guys so much, and of course, our Discord link is in the description below. You can follow us on. I'm sorry, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, click the notification bell, leave a like, and of course, in the comments below, tell us what do you think about Brother. Do you guys want to see us review more Takeshi Kitano films? I know that Brad's really interested in it. Might be a director for December. We don't know, but let us know. And of course, if you're on your podcast app of choice, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review and follow us on that favorite podcast app of choice. And of course, thank you to our patrons. Without them, none of this is possible. They've been supporting us for so long since we launched our Patreon. Some of them have been there since day one. I know my cousin's been there since day one. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for being here forever. And we thank our executive producer Shane. Where can they find him, Brad?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/xsrk or on Twitter at thrifted.il. Or sorry, I had a brain fart. I've said this
Yeah,
thing
bro, brain
forever.
fart.
Or go buy something from the Suppy God at depop.com/Prison City Vintage.
Yeah. And of course, Brad, do you have your answer now?
I think I have 3 movies. Can I say the
Okay.
3 movies?
Yeah, you can go ahead and say 3.
Because they're all right around the same. I'm going. So first one, Amoris Peros.
Okay, even though you were like,
Even though like I still do not like those characters because
yeah,
they're all reprehensible. But I think
yeah.
Amoris Peros, Babel, and then Beautiful.
Okay. So when I introduced you to Inarritu was when it really clicked
Yeah,
for
I
you.
think so.
Would you say that Stalker is also, if you expanded the list to 5, would you say that Stalker is in
Oh,
there too?
Stalker is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Especially getting into Tarkovsky.
Yeah. Stalker and then Kiarostami as well with Taste of Cherry and
I mean Ingmar Bergman. We got the Seventh Seal and Persona.
yeah. There's a lot in that in those early years, like that. I'm like, okay, wow, like you can really see where the shift happens in there, because it's like this is like, look at this, guys. So movie wise, this is what the first year consisted of. It Chapter 1, Thor Ragnarok, Justice League, Star Wars Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 2, Star Wars Episode 3, Rogue One, Star Wars, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Eyes Wide Shut, Akira, Black Panther, Back to the Future, Trigun, Badlands Rumble, Ikiru, On the Waterfront, 12 Angry Men, Vertigo, Spirited Away, Avengers Infinity War, Deadpool 2, Solo, The Godfather, Jurassic World, Blazing Saddles, Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Taxi Driver, Apocalypse Now, Quiet Place, Amores Perros, Blade Runner, Babel, Blade Runner 2049, Her, Beautiful, Birdman, Dead Boy Society. I think the shift really happens around that Ikiru onward. I think that's where the shift really happens, Brad.
I
And I
mean,
think,
you can definitely see because before that, they're all pretty modern. Like
yeah,
they're
modern new
like
releases.
action kind of movies.
Yeah,
And then after Ikiru, it's like, oh look, we got On the Waterfront, 12 Angry Men,
yeah,
Vertigo. I mean,
mm,
then you got some some of the big hitters. You got Infinity War in there, and Spirited Away, Deadpool 2, Solo.
yeah,
Got like that. But then we go like, so we get through like basically go through Disney and Marvel, and then we're
yeah.
back to Taxi Driver and Apocalypse Now. I mean, A Quiet Place, that was kind of a recent hit during that time. But then we go to Morris Perros, then Blade Runner, Babel, Blade Runner 2049,
Yeah,
and we kind of continue that on. I mean, and you see it. We choose like the movies like that may not be the biggest hits, but that we kind of
yeah.
wanted to watch, and then we intersperse it with like Venom.
The Godfather. Now there's a transition. Yeah, yeah. Um, fuck, man. But that's, yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So much. So many movies we've watched. Um, and we. Oh my god, there's so many, man. There's so many, and it's crazy because like it took us until this year to finally do silent films. Oh god, we finally got to silent films now. We were putting them off for so long, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm just glad that we made it another year, and I'm glad that we were able to do more of these movies, because it's so much stuff that we get to talk about, and I know it's a running joke at this point that we forget what the fuck we watched,
That's true.
but like when you look at some of these, you're just like, what the fuck are we programming here, bro? Like,
Well, like now I've landed in October 2022. So there's Suspiria, Lords of Salem, and then Jack Frost 2: The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman.
yeah, yeah. Oh my god. But I think, to me, I think some of my favorite years of the podcast is definitely phase 2 when we started doing Bergman. I think that I really like the COVID years, because there was some stuff that we were really starting to, what's it called, to watch in there, that I was like, wow, like
What?
this stuff is, I don't think we would have ever seen this.
Well, you remember during COVID, nothing was being made.
Yeah, so we had a lot of time to just go back
We were
and see
just
other
going through
things.
like, well, you want to watch this? It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I mean,
Oh,
man,
12
we
Monkeys. You're right,
really
12
watched a
Monkeys. That
lot.
was a good one.
Which one?
12 Monkeys. That was good.
Oh yeah, 12 Monkeys, man. Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other films and other directors that you're like, you guys have not talked about this person. Like, how are you guys not talked about this
Then
person?
put it in the comments in the chat. Let us
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, there's Hereditary.
yeah. Because at this point, we're just programming based on what we're seeing, bro. After reviewing Seven Samurai last week, this week we'll be going over the Emoji Movie. We are not going to discuss the Emoji Movie here. Yeah.
I don't even know if there's one Adam Sandler movie in this. Oh
Yes,
wait,
I
no,
think
there
so.
is. There is. Yeah,
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 yeah.
that's right. Uncut Gems.
Yeah. But with that said, Brad, we're getting out of here. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll catch you guys on Sunday for our Lord of the Rings of Power episode 4 review. But for now, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys in the next one. Brad, let's go ahead and send them out of here.
All right, Roland. Thank you, being host as always. Thank you to Stacy for once again joining us in chat. Thank you to our listeners out there, our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, I don't know. Make sure the cup doesn't have a hole in it. Young, you're out. Hey, brother.